Welcome to this session. Most of the time you find there are questions out there on why is it my cow is not conceiving? So today we intend to answer all your questions and actually delve into what could be the possible reasons as to why your animal may not conceive, or the farmer's animal that the technician is inseminating is not conceiving. So welcome, and do not hesitate to put in your questions. We'll try to answer them to the best of our ability. Welcome. So any day that a cow passes without cow not pregnant when she's supposed to be, money is lost. The exact amount depends on the farming system in use. So it is important that dairy cows are served and become pregnant at the early possible time. AI is a method for service that must achieve this objective. So once a cow is inseminated, it either conceives or it does not conceive, with the cow coming back on heat after 21 days, or probably fail to show any signs of heat at all, which we normally call a silent heat. So normally after calving, a cow is expected to start cycling between 45 and 60 days. So we advise farmers and technicians who will be working with the farmers to observe heat around this period. This is after the cow has calved, 45 to 60 days. Once observed on heat, the farmer should report to the AI technician the approximate time heat signs were observed and the signs seen. So ideally, the ultimate measure of AI success is production of a viable offspring, at the end of the 9 months. This should be done at the minimal attempts and therefore shortest possible period. So we are saying after the cow calves down, within 45 days, you should be looking out for it. Last week, we had a training session on heat detection, and I believe it quite elaborated on what to look out for. So for this to happen, there are several players each with a specific role. Each of them must perform their role effectively and efficiently to achieve the overall success. In this case, we are assuming that the semen from the AI center, which is CAGRIC, is of good quality. So the major players involved in the whole AI service delivery is the farmer, the AI technician, and the cow. So we'll be looking at these three in the next slides to be able to understand what role is it that they have to play in ensuring the success of the AI service delivery. So each of the players could contribute to the failures and success also of this technology. So far, CAGRIC has lived to the expectations by providing quality semen. But as you all know, AI service is now liberalized in this country. It's privatized. Therefore, there is need to be vigilant in terms of quality output in the market because there are various actors, not only CAGRIC. So AI failure, if any, and the nature of it can only be identified if there are farmer records. So records are of paramount importance while you're tracking if there are any AI failures. So this is a tripartite we are talking about. The AI tripartite, which involves the farmer, the AI technician, and the cow. So each of them has a responsibility in that arrangement, whereby the farmer is involved in heat detection, which animal and which is the animal that is on heat, and the timing as well. So those are details that have to be availed. On the other side, the AI technician must ensure that there is a proper semen quality maintained in the liquid nitrogen tank at the time of sowing, post-sow, at the time just before the insemination, and while carrying out the insemination itself. Where do you locate the semen and the space? So success of the tripartite is arrangement, and each of the parties are equally important and must play their role. So the farmer is the one who keeps the cow and manages it. And at the end of the day, their vision is to ensure that their cow gets pregnant. The cow, on the other hand, has to show heat and be free from infections to enable her get pregnant and carry the pregnancy to term. So the third party is the technician who has to do what it takes to get that cow pregnant. Yeah. So when it comes to the farmer, we say that the farmer or his appointed agent, who is now maybe the person who assists in the farm, will be in touch with the animal on a regular basis. Last week, we were told that it is important to check on the animal for heat in the morning and in the evening. So the farmer should therefore be responsible for cow management, which includes record keeping and heat detection. Timing of AI is therefore important. This is mainly based on record keeping and good observation of the right cows should be presented for insemination and at the appropriate time. Unless this happens, cows will not get pregnant. I'm sure there are times when we've had the wrong cow inseminated, so you find that it does not conceive because it was not on heat at that time. So for us, whatever we learned last week, and we can always review later, is ensure you are able to identify the correct animal for service. Animals should be well fed to enable them manifest heat. One thing you need to note is that animals that are having nutritional issues, they may not come on heat or manifest heat overtly. So if this does not happen, the heats are likely to be weak. If the animal is not properly nourished, you may miss the heat or it may be silent. Such cows will eventually not get pregnant. Any advice and follow-up should be strictly observed. So there are some who are late ovulators. You may find that double inseminations are recommended to achieve pregnancy. So how do we mitigate AI failures at the farmer's level? We recommend that farmer education on the following aspects, including how to identify a cow on heat, more so to be specific, the signs of heat, and to be able to pick out a cow on heat among several others, and times to present cows for service. Last week, we were taught that it should be, if you see it in the morning, you present it in the evening, in the afternoon, which we call the AM-PM rule. The right feeding, maintain records of the cows, pedigree, that is parentage, production, fertility, and health. Yeah, because there are some diseases that may affect the conception, or maybe a cow may have conceived, but because of the fever, the episodic fever that may come, you end up finding that the cow may have conceived, but it ends up aborting because of that high temperature. Air records, these provide information on the last date of calving, the date of last insemination, the bull used, and the identity of the AI technician. You're able to track all these and you'll be able to actually identify where the problem could be in terms of AI failure. I just to recap on what we did last week. So heat detection is, these are some of the signs that you will see: animals mounting on others and does not stand to be mounted, running around, which professionals will call restlessness. There's that reduced milk production, the mucus discharge, the bellowing, and the phlegm and lip curl, which may not always be present. But when an animal is ready for service, you find that there's standing heat, it's standing to be mounted, there's clear mucus discharge, and there is swollen vulva. So when there is standing heat, you find that, like I've mentioned in the last slide, it's just the same, and the reddening of the vulva. So how do you tell that there are signs of mounting, that there was mounting taking place? You find that the flanks are dirty, ruffled hair on the tail end, some skin may also be removed at some point because of the friction, and streaks of saliva on the flanks, leaking, which results from leaking by interested herd mates. So we've looked at the farmer and their role. We'll now go into the next party, who is the AI technician. So the AI technician has now replaced the bull. So he or she has to do the job well or even better than the bull itself. So to achieve this, there are several areas that have to be observed. One is that the semen viability has to be maintained. Semen must always have enough liquid nitrogen to ensure that the spermatozoa do not die. So when the inseminator comes to your farm, the tank must have liquid nitrogen, and one of the indications is the sort of vapors that you see coming out of the tank. But the inseminator should always ensure that the semen straws are submerged under liquid nitrogen. Again, in order to maintain a proper semen viability, the right semen thawing procedure has to be strictly adhered to. They use warm water, not hot or extremely cold. Yeah, and they also observe the minimum time between thawing and the time of insemination. Yeah, so technicians have been trained over time on how best to handle this bit. So it should, normally it's recommended that between 3 minutes to 5 minutes, the semen should have been thawed and inseminated in the cow to ensure that there is minimal time when the semen now is in the active phase before now it's delivered to the animal. Then when it comes to the semen delivery, now it is after thawing. The technician has to ensure that the semen is deposited in the right location in the uterus. Yeah. The whole straw should be deposited in the uterine body and not partially. And it also has to be done very slowly to avoid damaging the cells. How would we mitigate against AI failures under at the level of the AI technician? The technician performance should always be monitored, mainly by the regulator. Now that we are having the devolved system of governance, we have the county directors who and the sub-county vets who assist in this to be able to ensure that our technicians who are serving our farmers are up to speed with their technologies. So then the results of performance through pregnancy diagnosis and records of non-return, it is expected that as they are licensed by the county and the sub-county veterinary offices, they also submit reports on the non-return rate, and in case of any repeats and how they are performing in the field. That's the best way to monitor the performance of the AI technician. Again, regular refresher trainings. This can be in a busy practice or in an institution to be able to brush up on the theory and catch up on any new information. With time, there is a complacency that may come, but CAGRIC is a registered CPD provider, and we normally hold regular AI refresher trainings for the AI technicians in various counties. So this will also help in ensuring that the AI technicians who are serving you farmers are up to speed with the technique of serving your animals. The third setting we'll be looking at is a cow. What about the cow? We say cows with infections will fail to either get pregnant or carry the pregnancy to term. They may come on heat, get served, but fail to ovulate or ovulate late. Well, in both cases, you'll find that the conception will fail. Again, if the cow is not well fed, it will come on heat but fail to manifest the same. So we call that silent heat. So if you don't see the heat signs that we learned last week, that restlessness, bellowing, so that heat may pass. And you might think that the animal is already in calf. So in this case, she will not be taken to service if it was a silent heat, because it goes unnoticed. Again, you find that there are some bulls whose semen may be incompatible with certain cows. And the more the reason why we are emphasizing that it is important to keep records. Yeah. Ensure that cows are free from any infectious diseases. Cows should also be fed well. to meet the requirements for both milk production and estrus. For a cow to be able to manifest heat or heat signs, it must be well fed and it has taken care of its maintenance and it's producing milk, because it treats the pregnancy as a secondary after it has been able to meet all its other requirements. So again, feeding is paramount to ensure that the cow is able even to show heat. Yeah, so if a cow returns to service for a third time when the same bull is used, consider changing. There could be that issue of incompatibility. And the more the reason why this information will be of essence to the inseminator as feedback from your records as a farmer, and for the inseminator to be able to report back to the veterinary office. And with this information, it will be able to reach even CAGRIC at the end of the day. And if there is any interventions to be made, they will be made in good time. So records. So we'll be discussing possible ways of troubleshooting in cases of AI failures. This was a study that was carried out in 3 small-scale dairy farms that were on a dairy AI program and were found to have a problem with the conception. So you find that cows were constantly coming back on heat after service. The average cycles in each of the affected cow we'll see in the next table that I will display. So the farmers kept proper records. Therefore, it was possible to see the pattern of these repeat heats, which we call the repeat breeding. We'll be able to appreciate the uniqueness of each case, and based on the observations, we can identify which of the parties is involved in each of the cases. So you find that in farm A, the inseminations seem to take the fashion of 20 to 21 days, which is a normal cycle. The second farm, the frequency of the heat detection is 26, 30, 32, 28. So there's no particular pattern. Then you find that in the third farm, there was 20 and multiples of 21 as you move along, because you see 20, 42, 63. That's around 21 days, multiples of 21. So let's find out what was the observation. In the first farm, the heats were very close to a normal cycle, which is 21 days, which implied that cows behaved as if they were not served. So in this case, we find that the semen used was either dead or it was not deposited in the correct place. So this is a technician problem. So in this case, in the tripartite, the problem was with the technician. So I bet you can appreciate 20, 21 is around 20, is around the same normal cycle, the estrus cycle. Yeah. So in the second farm, farm B, the cycles were irregular, but longer than normal, which implied that the cows had conceived for a little while, but lost the conceptus. So it would appear that the uteri were not conducive for conception, probably due to infection. So in this case, the party that is involved is the cow. So in farm B, there was a cow problem. You find that it's not following the 21-day cycle. It seems to be slightly either longer or close to the 21. So you find that it's not following the 21 days. So the cow could have conceived but lost the pregnancy along the way, probably due to infections of the cow, of the cow uterus. In the third case, you find that the cycles were long, but all multiples of 20 or 21 days, just around the normal estrus cycle. This shows that the cow came on heat that were not detected. These were, which we are calling silent heats. They went undetected. This could have been due to underfeeding or poor heat detection. So this becomes a problem now of the other party, who we call the farmer. So you see that the variations tell a lot, and the more the reason why we are impressing on the need to keep records to be able to timely intervene on what could be the problem. So at this point in time, I would want to say thank you for your listening and would welcome questions. Thank you, Mary.
Daktari, I really appreciate that. Was so elaborate. That was so straight. So far, I'm not seeing any questions on the chat. Unless there are any questions from the Facebook side, maybe Chebet, you can kindly highlight if there are any.
Thank you, Mary, but there are none so far. I think we can give our participants some time.
Okay. I really appreciate that. Was so elaborate. We've learned now on where AI issues are. Most farmers have been calling and questioning on AI, why my cow has had to be served twice or thrice. But now we understand it's a tripartite thing. It either depends on the technician, the cow, or the farmer. So, and we've seen how to troubleshoot and know where exactly the issues are. Thank you, Daktari. That was very, very elaborate. I think these webinars should be repeated over and over. We are learning more. And farmers, I think now you understand your cow more. You don't have to depend on the technician only or somebody else to tell you what to do with your cow. But now we are getting better in management of the cow and understanding our cow even more. So once again, thank you, Daktari. And since I'm not seeing any questions, Chebet, I don't know whether your video is up now. You can maybe play it as even we wind out. But I'm getting one question here. A question from Josh Araka. Josh Araka, thank you very much. What is the role of mineral replacements in boosting heat? What is the role of mineral replacements in boosting heat? So Daktari Karibu, maybe you can assist Josh in that question.
Thank you very for that, and thank you, Josh Araka, for your question. One thing I must say is that the mineral supplements are key, but we also say they have to be given in moderation to ensure that there is enough energy and in the animal, and also to help in the hormonal in boosting the hormones that help in the promotion of the heat. You find that minerals like phosphorus, selenium, vitamin A and E, we have also copper, zinc, and molybdenum. They're also very key in helping in the animal showing the heat. So it is of essence that whatever you're feeding the animal, you ensure that you provide also the mineral block so that the animal is able to pick what is just enough for it. Yeah, so that would be the role of the mineral salts, the mineral supplement replacements. So just have a block rather than having to add in the food. That's what I would recommend to avoid giving less or giving more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daktari, and thank you, Josh Araka. I think your question is well answered. Any other question? I'm not seeing any other question, but I also...
Mary?
Yes?
We have a question on our Facebook page. What causes cystic ovaries in cows?
Daktari, please.
Yeah, I'll respond to that shortly. Cystic ovaries is a hormonal problem whereby you find the follicles in the ovaries are producing progesterone. So the animal takes it as though it is already pregnant. So it does not show any heat, so it goes silent. So, and the more the reason why you find that if you find an animal is not conceiving, it's good to call in a practitioner to just do a rectal palpation, put their hand into the rectum, and exactly feel whether they are luteal cysts. Luteal cysts are caused by you find that they are very hard. Technicians will be able to tell that if they put their hand inside. They are well educated in how to do it. But if it's a follicular cyst, it will be pitting, and that impedes the process of the animal showing heat. So it sort of suppresses it. So that will require a professional to intervene at that point. Yeah, to be able to have the animal cycling as normal. Yeah, thank you. I'm seeing also a question from Mary Temet. There are many mineral blocks in the market. Which one would you recommend? This one I would recommend that you liaise closely with your veterinary practitioner who's been handling your animal. I would not wish in this forum to seem as though I'm marketing any mineral block. But I believe there are adequate professionals out there who can help you in getting the right that, provided it meets your requirement. That means it has the phosphorus, the selenium, the trace elements that I've just mentioned, the copper, that are necessary to enhance the manifestation of heat. Mary, I don't think it would be advisable to give a name in this forum, is it?
Yeah, sure. Eunice, maybe the much we can do, you can contact us. We can give you the names of our agents that we are working closely with. Those are people we are guaranteed of their accreditations in terms of veterinary services, as well as providing AI services. So that one, maybe we can pick it with you, Eunice, offline. But in this forum, we are not marketing any company. So we will not tell you go for this and that company. Tafadhali. Chebet, any other question?
None so far.
Chebet was to play us a video that we are having technical hitches in playing it. And the video was basically to educate as farmers on the various breeds of cattle that we have at the center, the kind of semen we have. We have the 4 main dairy breeds. That is the Holstein Friesian, or what we call the Friesian. We have the Ashers, we have the Gansi, we have the Jersey. We also have the dual purpose breeds and also good in beef. We have the Saiwar, we have the Boran. We also have some bits of other breeds within us. We have what we call the composite, that is mainly not pegged towards one breed. And for any AI to be successful, as much as we've talked about the 3 pillars, that is the technician, the farmer, and the cow, remember the semen quality and the breed matters most. And that's where we come in as a Kenya Animal Genetic Resource Center in preservation of genetic material to ensure that you get the very quality that is tested and vetted as best for Kenyan and the climates in Africa. So any of you who would want further communication, you can engage us even from the social media, from the Facebook. You can also contact us directly. I don't know, Chebet, you can share the contacts. And you feel free even to visit our center. Our head office is at Kabete. We have some branches in Sotik. We have another one in Kirinyaga. And we have the Rakanithi and any other outlets that we have. Feel free also to visit our website. And from there, you can get even more information about us and about the bulls we have, the kind of semen we have that would help increase and promote better animals in your farm, hence more production, hence more money. So at this juncture, I don't know anyone else who has a comment or a question. I can, the floor is open. Yes,
there's a question, rather a comment on our Facebook page. If a heifer attains 350 kgs at 12 months and comes on heat, is it advisable to serve maturity versus puberty?
Would recommend that, now as the animal gains weight, you can be sure also they are developing their organ systems. So from around 12 to 15 months, that animal, so long as it has attained about 300 kgs, it should be able to come on heat and be served. So the weights may vary from one breed to the other depending on the size, because you find like the Frisian and the Jersey have different weights. But from around 12 to 15 months thereabouts, we should endeavor to serve the animal, so that our target should ensure that we get a first calf by 24 months of age. So ideally, the weight may depend on the particular breed in question, but with proper feeding, the animal should be able to come on heat between around about 12 to 15 months of age, but preferably at 15 months of age. Yes. So it also allows for the animal to develop their organ systems fully. Thank you, Chebet, for that. I'm reading a question from Joash Araka on the Q&A session. Feature, it says when a farmer uses sex semen but the outcome is a bull calf, what could be the challenge, the cow or the semen? In this case, that tells you that the cow is in good health, it conceived. The other issue is, why did it give you a bull calf? One thing you need to appreciate is that the semen may not be the sex semen may not be 100% female. The X-bearing spermatozoa, X chromosome bearing spermatozoa. So you find that there is a certain percentage that might give you a bull. We'll be discussing more on sexed semen next week. So tune in next week to be able to get more information on the same. But basically, that tells you the cow is in sound health. The other issues of whether it was Y or X, that will be discussed in detail next week. Yeah, but the semen is not absolutely 100% female spermatozoa, bearing spermatozoa. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Daktari. I think the questions are well answered. I just wanted to add on the question about the heifer coming into heat at 12 months. One thing is kindly, as a farmer, make sure if, depending on your breed, just like Daktari said, that heifer has attained at least 80% of the live weight of a full mature cow. If it has not, then you may also be subjecting that heifer to some level of stress. Again, check also on the feeding, check also on the semen you're giving. For instance, you may not want to give such a young heifer semen for a big kind of a bull or cow. So again, we come back to genetics, we come back to the phenotypes and the genotypes of the cow, so that you don't make that heifer carry to term a bigger calf than it can handle, and hence having calving issues. So to avoid a lot of calving issues, we always recommend 15 months and above. So that is what I would recommend personally. So if there are no more questions at this juncture, I would want once again to appreciate every participant, every person who's joined in. Much thanks also goes to our technical team, Kevin and the rest. And we also thank Chebet, the panelists. We are having Chebet, we are having Dr. Rosalie. And I want to tell you this. We started this series with topic by topic. We started by understanding the breeds that we have. We went to understanding again what to look for to get a good breed. Then we looked last week on heat detection. Today we've looked at AI and what causes AI failures and how to seal the loopholes. So by next week, we will be engaging more and more even on details about the conception, the semen, the sex semen, and all that. And by the end of this series, you will have understood completely on how to run from A to Z your farm on dairy farming. So any other topics that you may feel are of interest to you, kindly don't shy away. Just type them on our chat box on the Q&A. You can also contact us and we will prepare a lesson for that. Once again, I want to say thank you and karibuni sana. So at this juncture, I want us to share the words of grace even as we end the session. So may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit
with us
now and forever.
Amen.
Amen. So for those who want to follow up, it is live on our Facebook page. You can still replay the whole lesson again. Thank you.